are we all doing today? Goodness! Alright, let's get this thing out of the way. And open this up. Good afternoon, everybody. Real quick, thanks to a shitload of people renewing their memberships today. We've got Deacon Smith, Anthony Strickling, Bear, Nicholas Quizela, Paul Ferrali, Sign of the Emperor at almost 2 years. And then we got a new one even, right at the start. Mason Riley, welcome. And Dossict saying wah through Super Chat. Thanks for the tip, brother. Really appreciate it. Alright, guys. So, it should not be a huge surprise that I was a little more than vaguely aware of some of the things coming. However, I have not seen the trailer. I have not seen it. I've not seen the trailer. I made a promise that you guys would get my live reaction to it, which I am nothing if not a man of my word. IT Woe Trains, thanks so much for the membership here, dude. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do today. Real quick before we get into it. Thank you, sir. Oh, my links are missing? Oh, we should probably fix that. Hold up. We don't have a Fanatical link just yet. I'm waiting for some word back from them. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, also, just for shits and giggles, I actually have a couple of keys for some other DLCs, and just so we can maximize hype efforts here and thank all you guys for coming out, we're just gonna give away a bunch of random shit. I have to double check what I even have here. Okay, hold on. Edit. And then description. Okay, there. Refresh your page. Refresh your page. It's not for this DLC, it's for some other DLCs. But we will also be giving away a shitload of DLCs. Have I seen the new mount? Yes, I got an email about it. I have seen the Arachnarok Spider. So we have a lot to talk about, guys. This is going to be a really long stream, more than likely. Like, if this ends up being less than like an hour, I will be really surprised. Man, Yahoo is turning into an absolute bitch lately. I need to, like, move my email. Okay. Yes, because Daddy needs his embargo pages. Stop! Did I oversleep? No, I didn't. I just knew that. Here's the thing. Well, okay. First, let's watch the trailer. Okay, let's get today going, and then we can start talking about all of the stupid stuff. Jesus Christ, I'm getting like a billion messages. Oh, did somebody lie to me? Somebody emailed me about, or sorry, not emailed. Somebody messaged me that they got an email. Well, whatever. We'll deal with that in a little bit. Anyway. Guys, slow down. Alright, I'll check my... I have not looked at my email yet. I got messages about it. Okay, so. Get that out of the way. It has been announced if you have Total War access. Okay, good. I was like... somebody just screwed me if that's not true. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, check your access emails. All right, enough. Enough. Let's watch the trailer. They might be sending it out in waves, guys, if you haven't gotten the email yet. Okay, let's do this. I'm really excited. I have not seen this yet. I have not seen it. Also, thanks a whole bunch for all the, oh my gosh, so many... Y'all are making it very hard to keep up with what's happening. Okay, thank you for all the tips. Let's just get into it. Let's get into it.
Where is it? It has been many years, but this city will never be safe. Not whilst he is still out there.
Okay, so a flashback? Good lord.
We'll show them pointy ears! We'll show them all!
What is this, Batman?
His immensity, his enormously has returned!
Niblet! Niblet! Good lord.
Please just warm it up!
It's like looking in a mirror.
A storm comes to a flood.
Good grief!
It is
Look at
my
this!
Duty, our duty, to endure. Each time we give the pointy heads a proper fight. Stand with me. For as long as I still live. For Ibris will never fall.
Damn, dude. Good lord, what a good trailer. What a good trailer. Oh my gosh. Just the... Yeah, it is very Mad Maxy, especially the scene in the Badlands. Like when everybody's going to see Grom. Good grief. What an absolute, just like, god tier trailer. Why is my phone blowing up? I'm gonna silence this. Whatever it is, it can wait. Okay. So, yeah, the music was great. Immortan Gorge. Oh, I thought someone said Immortan Gorge. It says Immortan Grom, but I think Immortan Gorge is, is a nice close thing to Immortan Joe. Batman. Yeah, I was getting hardcore Joker vibes from this little goblin in prison. Oh, dude, Eltharin and Grom look so good. For those who have not check 111, there's a hero to the left of the biggins. 111.
To endure.
you sure that's a hero, or is that just a war boss? That looks like the regular orc war boss. Yeah, I think that's just I just think that's an orc war boss because he's got the horns. But anyway, so let's first thing I'm gonna do is take a look at the Steam page. And then we will get really in depth on that trailer. And of course, I've got the QA thing and all that stuff pulled up. Grom and... Sorry, not Grom. Paunch. Alright, so... let's go ahead and... get started for stuff. Oh my gosh, there's so many messages. It's really hard to keep up with chat. Kiro! Thanks so much for that massive $35 tip, dude. Grimlock will chomp ya. Yeah, please do hit the like button if you're having a good time here, guys. It does help out the stream on its later viewings and stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look at what all has been revealed. War bosses don't have two banners on their backs. Oh. I'll have to look again. Okay, so we've got... So basically they just say... So Eltharion the Grim is going to lead your Yivres, makes sense. And Grom the Paunch leads the Broken Axe Tribe. Both of those are on point. Okay, they talk a bit about their history, which we'll get into their lore here in a good minute. Oh, here we go. Read more. Alright. Eltharion the Grim, unique faction mechanics. Alright, let's take a look. So for... Well, first of all, do they have all the new units? They do have the new units. Oh, boy. We get to talk about everything. Good. Where's Misha? Misha went to do other things. You will probably not see her in chat because I think she has moved on to other places, which we wish her all the best on that. All right, so let's just go down the list and then we'll hit up the FAQ and then we're gonna talk about my schedule over the next couple weeks because my schedule is of course going to be very different, and I was not allowed to talk about it till today, which is why there was not a morning video today, because there's going to be a lot of stuff hitting the walls. Love the content. JD Norman, thanks so much for the tip. Who braids the lion's hair? The White Lions do. White Lions, those that are lucky enough can make good relationships with the actual war lions. And it's amazing. Dude, seeing the war lions in action, like seeing this scene, where is it? Hold on, let me find it. This scene right here, like, good lord, that is giving me such hardcore flashbacks to Warhammer Online Age of Reckoning. It's like, oh, my heart. Granted, it didn't look that good. But, because in Warhammer Online, you could play a white lion with a war lion pet, and you'd run around and just curb stomp shit, and it was great. I can't believe we got pump wagons. That's so silly. Okay, so, for the High Elves. Screw it, let's start with the Greenskins. Greenskins, they're more on my mind at the moment. So we got Grom the Paunch, leading the Broken Axe Tribe, and we got Grom's Cauldron. Grom has an insatiable appetite, as his girth attests to. In a Grom campaign, you'll find a variety of ingredients around the world with which to cook up a range of recipes. By combining different ingredients in Grom's Cauldron, Grom and his boys will be able to feast and gain special powers. Unlock various ingredients by meeting the River Troll Hag food merchant. I love that there's a River Troll Hag. That's so awesome. Combine ingredients to form different dishes. Okay, so it's a cooking sim. So we have cooking sim. Oh, Blacktooth? Is Blacktooth gonna be... during Grom's, his most trusted shaman, Blacktooth, nearly destroyed Ulthuan. Eltharion decapitated him, yep. But the shaman's surging power helped him cheat true death. And his disembodied head... Oh my god, we're getting, oh shit, what's that dude's name? Hey, people here who have played the most recent God of War game. What's the name of the dude that got his head chopped off? Was it Mimir? So is Blacktooth gonna be Mimir? the Warhammer version? While Niblet is Grom's chief advisor, Blacktooth will from time to time utter guidance to Grom, delivering tasks and molding the journey to his inevitable and decisive showdown. His head will also take on the role of a special item. He can summon a rogue idol. It is Mimir. Awesome. Gul'dan. Mimir was the correct answer, but half points if you said Gul'dan. Damn, that's I'm so glad Blacktooth is in it. Blacktooth is such a great character. Oh, that's great. But Mimir is more what I'm going for, because I imagine Blacktooth is going to have the skin still on. Alright, so new units and characters. We've got Grom the Paunch, competing for the role of King of the Goblins. I really hope they have some kind of thing between Grom and Skarsnik. Like, I hope when Grom and Skarsnik talk on the campaign map, it'd be great if they have unique dialogue. Because they both... If they had existed at the same time, there would have been some beef between Grom and Skarsnik. Grom can buff people nearby so long as he's fighting. That's cool. He's always on his chariot, as it should be. Grom is way too big and fat to walk around. That man needs his mobility scooter. Oh, is it Ricardo? Did they? Well, we'll deal with that in a little bit. River Troll Hag. So they're gonna be using the Lore of Death. Oh my god, that's gonna be so good on Greenskins. Oof. Yikes. Having a hero deathcaster instead of it only being Azhag, that is going to be really nasty. Could Gobla eat Grom? Absolutely, Gobla could eat Grom. Gobla's mouth is gigantic. Dude, he's a cave squig. He's a great cave squig. Snotling pump wagons. I'm so happy we got Snotlings, dude. So happy we got Snotlings. Yeah, here I'm not seeing I'm not seeing any orcs. I know somebody said that earlier. I'm not seeing any listed on the Steam page. Snotling pump wagons, so they got the Flappas and the Spiky Rollas. Oh, do we not get the exploding ones? Loogie Boogas Spore Splodas. Yes! We got all the different kinds of... Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so we have every type of... So we got every kind of pump wagon. So we got all the pump wagon variants, river trolls and stone trolls, ugh, and rogue idols. I will say I am very excited for the rogue idol. Personally, I was kind of hoping that we were gonna get the colossal squig for like goblins. I feel like a rogue idol would have been better in an orc DLC, because hopefully we still have an orc DLC sometime during game 3. But that being said, a rogue idol is going to be disgustingly awesome. Rogue idols were one of the scariest things in the Monstrous Arcanum. And then so that I'm gonna say that's a beefy roster for Greenskins. So they got a new hero, a new lord, a new hero, a new legendary lord, and then 4 types if you include the Regiment of Renown of pump wagons, 2 new trolls, and a big scary unique monster. That's insanely good compared to some of the prior Lord packs. Maybe compared to all the prior Lord packs. Like a completely new giant monster. They're basically reskins, but obviously they're going to be different trolls. A completely new model with multiple variants in the pump wagons. A completely new hero type with the giant river troll hag, and then of course Grom. And that's, I mean, for only half the DLC, that's really solid. Let's take a look at the elf side of things. Man, Eltharion looks so good. Dude. Oh my gosh. I am, Stormwing. Dude, just seeing some of these really, really old characters updated into modern form is just so awesome. Like, Grom looks pretty different than he used to. Like, he looks like I would imagine him to look, but it's just, man, he just looks so much better, dude. And then yeah, so real quick, while we're on the concept of Greenskins, did y'all not, so some of y'all apparently got the email. Has everybody not checked, like, have any of you that have Total War access signed up to your email not checked, or have you, be sure to check your email, because other people in chat are confirming it as well, but if you check your email, I got an email about Total War access giving the new spider mount for the Goblin Great Shaman, which if y'all want, I can show that here in a minute. Show it on the email. Grom looks older. Well, he should. We haven't seen Grom for hundreds of years. Total War Warhammer is 9th edition? Yeah, really. That's probably the best way to think of it. Have I seen the video already? Yes. I got it. I didn't get it. I got it. Okay. Here, do y'all want to see it? For those of you who haven't seen it? Hold on, let me... Whoop. I'll just pull out, like, the picture of it. See? Look at that. That is so sexy. This was easily my most requested mount in Total War right now. The Arachnarok Spider Catchweb Spider Shrine mount. It looks so good. Hey, Misha's here. It looks so good. I love that vibrant red color. But it's gonna make this guy actually a really good character, which is just awesome. Paradigmal. I do have Twitch chat set up, actually. I just hadn't seen anything that required a direct response from me. But I can see you. Mason Riley, thanks so much for the tip, my dude. Really appreciate it. Godzilla 2021 coming in swinging. Jesus, dude, with a $50 tip. Best trailer so far and still wanting a Croc Score hero. Me too, man. Me too. Thanks for the very generous tip. All right. Let's get through the high elf stuff. We still have a ton of crap to talk about before we get into like kind of a Q&A thing. So let's... Paradigmal, it doesn't come out until like the 21st. Yeah. So they have started emailing everyone about the Arachnarok Spider Shrine, but it doesn't come out for like 2 or 3 weeks. 2 weeks. Exactly 2 weeks. Okay. So let's look at what Eltharion brings to the table. Athel Tamara. In its secluded Yvres mountainside lies Athel Tamara, Eltharion's base of operations. It lies in ruins, because, yep, it did get shreked by Grom. But Eltharion seeks to rebuild it. In Eltharion's campaign, it's represented by a new panel where the player rebuilds structures to gain unique benefits. In addition, you can use the Warden's Cage ability against heroes and lords. If they die while under its influence, they will be imprisoned for interrogation. Oh, that sounds kind of fun and a little fucked up. I wonder if you can imprison like other high elves. Has a unique number of structures across 2 unique chains which can be rebuilt. Each enhances the city's defense rating and gains the following. The Silent Sentinels chain increases the city's defense rating and enables recruitment and upgrading of elite Mistwalker units, plus increasing recruitment capabilities for several unique elite units. Watchers of Tor Yvesi enables the interrogation of captured characters. Improvements. Oh, we're getting the Mist. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And bonuses. Okay, I need to stop shouting. I can already tell that I'm like gonna break my voice very quickly if I keep yelling. Through questioning, vanquishing, and indoctrination of captives. Indoctrination? Oh gosh, are we gonna be like, ugh. I feel like Eltharion's gonna be committing war crimes. The Mist of Yvres. Oh, I'm so excited for the Mist. Get the unique ability Envelop in Mist, which enhances your troops' performance. That's cool. Increasing the strength of the Mist of Yvres will eventually cause it to cover all of Ulthuan as its protective aid. Oh, that is like one of the biggest things missing from Total War Ulthuan, is it doesn't have the protective mist from the lore. Oh boy. Defense of Yvres. Eltharion will gradually build up defensive power at the city as Eltharion's homeland becomes increasingly fortified against invasion. At the start of the campaign, the city of Tor Yvres will begin in a damaged state until upgrades are completed, progressing the city into rebuilt and fortified states. This is reflected in battles fought over the city, affording increasingly stronger defense abilities and options for Eltharion? Whoa, wait. So it's like... So, if you upgrade the city, it changes how its defenses work? That sounds kind of awesome. Let's see. Hold on. I want to take a quick... Alright, I gotta say, I always love when I get messages from people. This is a quick tangent. I always like when I get... I don't know if he's watching this live stream, but someone just messaged me this, and I just got to comment on it. I always love when someone messages me about a, like, a release. And, hold on. I'm going to actually... No, whatever. I'll deal with it in a minute. But I always love when someone messages me and they're like, hey, do you know stuff that no one else should know? And if you do know something that no one else knows, can you tell me? It's like, I feel like you kind of answered the question yourself. Can you let me know things that if you did know, you wouldn't be allowed to tell me? No! I would not. If I did know, I would tell you I didn't know. So I don't know. Don't ask me that. Anyway. Invocation of Ladriel. Neat. New characters. Eltharion the Grim. Awesome. Wields a spear and sword. Okay, that's kind of interesting. He does have Stormwing. Oh, the Archmage. Ah, mwah. Oh, dude, check this out. All 8 Winds of Magic and the Lore of High Magic. Awesome. Awesome. So that means that High Elves are now full on with the Empire for like mastery of magic. Give us a wink if you know. Dude, so when I was when we started the stream, and I was like, oh, cool, like, a Ragnarok Catchweb Spider Shrine. And there was, like, a bunch of people who were just like, oh, shit, like, Sotek just fucking, like, told everybody shit that doesn't isn't supposed to be known or something like that. And I was sitting there like, wait, was that a secret email? Like, that gave me a fucking heart attack for a good like 40 seconds until people started being like, no, I got that email. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I would have been so angry if they were just like, hey, look, here's a Total War Access email that nowhere in it said it would be secret, and then was like turned out to be a secret. I would have lost my shit. Jamie, they're probably getting around to that. Lore Master Sotek, since when has Altharion been a magic caster? So Altharion has always been a wizard. I'll show you guys a really cool thing I have here in just a minute. All right, so what other stuff did the High Elves get? Rangers. High Elf Rangers are inhabitants of Ulthuan's more remote areas and called upon in times of need. Silverin Guard, tasked with defending the Watchstone of Tor Yivres. Okay, so like a hardcore heavy spear unit. Ooh, that's kind of cool. War Lions, yes. Oh, dude, I'm so excited for War Lions. White Lion Chariots, obviously, that's great. Arcane Phoenix. Huh. Interesting choice. I would have really bet a lot of money that they were going to go with the Merworm, but they went with the Arcane Phoenix. Isn't that interesting? I don't remember seeing an Arcane Phoenix. And then exclusive Mistwalker units. Very, very cool. So just like a bunch of like famous units. Very cool. So hold on, so now that we have all the units, let's look through these pictures real quick. Where is an Arcane Phoenix? Oh, that's the Arcane Phoenix. Huh. Well, okay. I will say that the Arcane Phoenix's colors are very pretty. I remember the Rangers, they're from Warhammer Quest. Oh, that's cool. I was about to say I need to go check my Storm of Chaos stuff, because I recognize some of these units from the Storm of Chaos High Elf roster. So they're dual sword infantry. Very cool. Oh, you know what? I saw those in the trailer. Yeah, the Arcane Phoenix, kind of an interesting pick. Because I will say that I kinda... yeah, they kind of were close. So this is the this is the original artwork for the Arcane Phoenix. Hold on. Let me pull this up so I can see if y'all can see it. Yep. Obviously, some of the greens aren't coming through because of the green screen effect. But you'll notice it's kind of... it's a little different looking. It seems they used the Phoenix model they already have and gave it the triple tails... The triple tails, and then changed up the coloration a bit. I hope it's good. It looks like it can, like, summon a wall of fire or something. We'll have to see. Hopefully it's good. Oh, dude, look at those river trolls. Look at those things. Beautiful. Beautiful. God, I'm so excited for trolls, dude. Like, I kind of feel bad. I kind of feel bad for Throg. Like, Throg's like, I'm the Troll King, and the Greenskins are like, nah, you're not. Like, you're the Chaos Troll King, but that's where you're... Well, I guess he has Norse controls at least. Undertaker. Thanks for the tip. Theory is Merworm is saved for Game 3 Lord pack with Lord Islin and the Sky Cutter. Personally, I hope Game 3 will have a Greenskin Lord pack with Gorfang Rotgut, the Orc Big Boss, and Orc Regiments of Renown. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'll talk about the things that I'm a little like about, but I will say that so far I'm really enjoying everything I'm seeing. Okay, so I've got. Don't I have it as a web page? I don't know why I downloaded the text. Yeah, there we go. That just looks better. Yeah, they sent me the. Like, they sent me a file of it. Okay, so let's take a look at. Oh, some of y'all. So do y'all want to see something fun? Hold on a second. I'm gonna actually turn off this in case I have stuff I don't want y'all to look at right now. But there is. I actually have. This is sometimes a fun fact for people to know. But although I own all the books. Something I use to like quick check stuff is I have a program on my PC that lets me double check things. So like somebody was asking why can Altharian cast magic? And the answer is if you go to the 8th edition High Elves and you go down to Altharian the Grim, you can see here Altharian was a wizard because he had the Talisman of Hoeth, which made him a level 2 wizard. Traditionally, though, he could only... The interesting thing is, traditionally, it only let him know one of the battle lores, which are like the 8 common lores. Now, he is a... now he's wielding the lore of high magic, so it seems like Altharian got an upgrade. So that's kind of cool. Giants are going to be tier 4 for Greenskins. Okay, let's get through the FAQ. Okay, so we already read all this stuff. Trigger a WA. Oh, WAs. So the Greenskins are getting a free ULC update. Awesome. In battle, Greenskins will generate WA points to fill up a bar. When the bar is full, the players can trigger a WA. Once the WA ability is used... Lucas Schuler. Do not freak out if you haven't gotten the Ragnarok spider mount email yet. It's going to take a while for everyone to get that email. The Ragnarok spider shrine is not available until the 21st. So even if you get the email right now, you cannot use it until the 21st. So don't freak out. All right. And then Godzilla 2021 feels bad to be a Slan. I'm sure we'll get more Slan, dude. I'm sure at some point we will get more Slan. Baby steps. Baby steps. All right. Let's see. So, okay, so the WA is now... Looks like the WA... Okay, so the WA is no longer a character ability. It is now a racial trait. So you have to fill up a WA meter, and then you can use... Then once you have enough WA, you can activate it to get buffs in battle. Very, very cool. That's actually going to be really nice for Greenskins in multiplayer scenarios. Because I know, like, if you pick Greenskins and somebody counterpicked you with, like, High Magic or Kotep, they could, like, slap you with it. Or slap you with a timer reset and you wouldn't be able to WA. So it's nice that they took that off characters. Yes, so it sounds like it's going to be an army ability. Let's see. In campaign, the WA is a fashion... it's a fashion sense now. Is a faction-pooled resource, which must be built to maximum to enable a WA invasion. Whenever you choose a WA dedicated to Gork or Mork, hey, maybe the choice will actually matter now. I always hated the, there was an event in the current Greenskins campaign where it would be like, choose Gork or Mork. and like Gork was better. Like Gork gave you 4 fightiness and Mork gave you 3 fightiness, and that was it. And I always fucking hated that. Anyway. To target a WA, select a target region? Oh. A transported WA army will then support every available... What does transported WA army mean? After a set duration, the WA will end and your points will drop to 0. Based on the success of the WA, you get different rewards. Ooh, that sounds exciting. There's now a scrap feature. Scrap can be used to upgrade units. Each unit will have multiple different upgrades. Each unit in the army gets a different upgrade. Oh, dude, that's super cool. That's super cool. I wonder if it's gonna be like, Shogun 2, where you could like upgrade your like, you know what I'm talking about. Other Greenskin updates will include. I could bet $1 million I know where Ashag is. Good. Ashag is where he should be. Where is everybody seeing stuff about the free LC? Did they put that on like Twitter or something? Let's see. Total War. Boop. Because there's people in chat saying that Emmerich is the free LC, but I have not seen that anywhere. On stream, they said you can get 40 stacks. Holy shit! You can get a 40 stack? It was on that page. Oh, am I just blind? Oh, yeah, I'm just blind. Emmerich, the Lord of Dragons. Well, that means the forums are going to be super fucking happy. Emmerich is not my favorite choice. I mean, he makes, there's a plus and a minus to it. Like, on one hand, Emmerich was not one of the big characters of 8th edition, but on the other hand, Emmerich is, like, the only High Elf character that's really famous for having, like, a named dragon mount. So, like, I do like that it's Emmerich because the High Elves have such a ridiculous focus on dragons. So that's good. But at the same time, I kind of wish it was somebody else. They also said what his starting location will be. More information will be released soon. Okay, that must have been like on the stream or something. Oh, Soulbound came out today? Jesus, dude. There's so much going on. On Reddit, you have pictures of Emmerich. Oh, I would like to see a picture of Emmerich. And luckily, this is my business Reddit account, so we don't have to worry about weird shit. Not that I look at weird shit or anything. See, Total War. Boop. I love this guy. Someone's been posting Grom art last few days. Emmerich. Somebody posted some artwork of Emmerich. Is this what you were talking about? They spoke about it on stream. Oh, he's gonna be he's gonna be on the Dragon Isles? How are they gonna fit him on the Dragon Isles? Because right now, Malice Darkblade's on the Dragon Isles. Lore Master of Slanesh. Lore Master of Slanesh is my... yeah, Lore Master of Slanesh is my after hours account. Whatever, I'll look it up later. Y'all can look it up yourselves. Okay, so... Okay, so... let me check... Kiro Haas thank you again for another tip, $5. AOS Soulbound is out. Dude, I'm super fucking hyped for Soulbound. There's so much shit dropping today. I half expect Games Workshop to come out today and be like, here's like fucking new playable race or some bullshit. Think. What was I doing? There we go. Oh yeah, I just got the Soulbound email. Okay. I need to check an email real quick. Hold on. I promise this will be worth it. I need to clean out my email, my dudes. Alright. Let's see what this says. What's today? The 7th? So tomorrow is the 8th. Uh-huh. Okay, and I'm allowed... Okay. Okay, I could talk about this. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to... I wanted to make absolutely sure I could talk about this. Okay, so, who would win in an all-out war, Grom or Skarsnik? Ugh, Grom or I'll put it this way. I do not think Grom would have any way to capture and kill Skarsnik. He would need to lure Skarsnik out and then kill him out in the open. But I do not think he would be able to do anything about Skarsnik if Skarsnik was fighting on his home turf. Emmerich, picture is linked on Discord. Oh, thank you. I don't want to open my Discord because I don't know what it's going to pull up. Okay, so yeah, Undertaker, I will take a look at it in a little bit. So let's go ahead and just turn this off, actually. That way I don't have to be like constantly double checking. So I can just move this to there. There we go. Nice and easy. So, first of all, I can take a quick look at that picture of Emmerich. I don't like the angle of this picture. Why would they... I don't know, that's a bad angle for Emmerich. He looks good, but I'll wait till I see him in game before I render judgment on how he looks. Okay, guys, so here's the dealio. Tomorrow, I will be allowed to stream stuff. Which tomorrow is the 8th. So tomorrow morning at... I imagine, like, everybody is going to be streaming. Yeah, so here's the question, guys. I'm allowed tomorrow to be streaming the... I'm allowed to show you any of the old characters. So here's what's going to happen. Is that when this stream is over, I'm going to be doing a poll for everybody on YouTube, and you'll be able to pick Grimgor, Azhag, Skarsnik, or Wurzag as who you want to see played. It will be 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, also known as, I think, 3 p.m. British Standard Time. I'm seeing a lot of Grimgors. I'm seeing a lot of Grimgors. We are not voting right now. Shut up. Stop it. We're not voting right now. Dodo, it's business. I gotta check to make sure I'm allowed to talk about the things I'm allowed to talk about. I don't want to just come out and say, hey guys, blah, because I don't want to get in trouble. I want to make sure that CA feels good about trusting me with things. Anyway, so we'll be showing that off tomorrow. And I'm also allowed to show you guys the Arachnarok Spider Shrine mount. So we will definitely be playing around with that. Oh, I should note, it probably won't be a live stream. It'll probably be a video. And the reason for that is that if I live stream it, there's like a shitload of restrictions. Because they want to make sure everything's presented in the best light to what y'all are going to be seeing live. So it won't be a live stream. I'm just going to get that out of the way now. It will not be a live stream. It'll be a video. Anyway. Okay, so now we can get to the fun part. Let's get to the fun part, which is basically just going to be a Q&A until my voice hurts and I have to leave or something else comes up. So, if y'all have any questions about my thoughts regarding everything we've seen today, are we going to get more Ogre Q&As? Yes. So KS starting as of Friday, I think, which is tomorrow, we will be back to the Ogre Q&As at 7 a.m. Lore Master of Sotek, are you allowed to show the new map changes they mentioned? Do you guys really think that I would ever let an update go through the game that changes the map and not put out a unique colossal video that's going to show every single change to the map? Come on, who do you take me for? Eltharion the Grim looks like Henry Cavill. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. New map changes? Dude, there's so many map changes. Let's see. Okay, let's just go in order. Otherwise, I'm going to get confused. I want Snagla Grobspit as the free LC. We will actually be talking a lot about Snagla on Saturday. Because Saturday is going to be the... Oh, shoot. Yeah, Saturday will be the episode. So for those of you who've been watching the channel regularly, on Saturday we're going to be hitting up the... we're going to be doing like the Greenskins Hero of Legend episode. You'll get to talk a lot then. Do I know what the new secret mount is? Yes, because everyone does it. Well, not everyone, but if you'll get an email about it. The free LC mount that you get through Total War Access is the Arachnarok, the spider web, the Catchweb Spider Shrine. So it's a Arachnarok mount for the Goblin Great Shaman Lord. Will Grimgore be available tomorrow on 60 Minutes? Yes. We've been bamboozled. Let's see. Do I prefer stone trolls with magic defense or river trolls? So Louis, if they implement it as they should for Total War, the stone trolls are probably my favorite because they're so tanky. Like, they have armor and magic resistance, which on top of being trolls is just awesome. But river trolls do, if they're implemented correctly, should be lowering melee attack. So that's going to be kind of awesome too, in like a local area. Daniel Martin, thanks so much for the $8 super chat. What was Eltharion's raid on Nagarond like? We will talk about that in just a hot second. And then... Dragonheart, hype about Soulbound. How do I feel about Grom and Eltharion being brought into the modern era? Dude, I love it. I mean, I'm a little nervous. I do have a secret to reveal to you guys. It's kind of a big deal, and I'm a little I'm very proud, but at the same time a little embarrassed about my involvement in it. But I'll just go ahead and come out right out and say it and let you know that when they did the scene where Grom walks on screen in the trailer, they actually used me to render that during The Last Ever Chosen. True fact. Anyway. Okay, so let's talk about the invasion of Naggarond, or Naggaroth, not Naggarond, by Eltharion, because someone asked that. What is Soulbound? Soulbound is the Age of Sigmar RPG. If you don't like Age of Sigmar, you're not going to care, but if you do, it's a pretty big deal. Eltharion's biggest move that made I can tell what the delay is by the chat. It's funny, Twitch seems to get everything basically instantly, whereas YouTube seems to be a little behind, but it's funny. Did I really? Yes. Absolutely. Tommy, that would be nasty. So, the really famous situation with Eltharion, and kind of, let's actually just real quick, because I know a lot of people would like to know, let's go ahead and do the lore about these two guys, right? So, Eltharion the Grim and Grom the Paunch are, without a shadow of a doubt, the most iconic and famous special character rivalry in Warhammer Fantasy. Because there are a lot of special characters who have fought one another, or there are special characters who have, like, a really famous enemy. Like, if you've ever read the lore of Gothor the Beast Lord, when he fought and he, like, kamikazed with one of the Electric Counts, which was a really cool story, but that Electric Count themselves is not crazy famous and isn't, like, a special character. So, talking about the actual relationship between Eltharion and Grom, what basically happened is, simultaneously, Eltharion decided to do paradigmal. Eltharion is the only high elf ever who has successfully participated and led an invasion of Naggaroth and come back alive. There are a number of people who have successfully attacked it, but nobody has ever successfully raided, or nobody ever successfully made it home. Like, there was I forget exactly which Phoenix King it was, but there was a particularly powerful Phoenix King, it was Calidor the First, actually, now I remember. Calidor the First, not to be confused with Calidor Dragon Tamer, but Calidor the First, led a invasion of Naggaroth because they were trying to finish Malekith off after the Sundering. But although they were successful in destroying a lot of stuff, they got basically overwhelmed, and like a big sorceress storm separated Calidor the First from his fleet, and he was able to be isolated by the Dark Elves, but rather than be captured, he literally threw himself into the ocean and drowned to death. So, not even a Lithanar. Well, a Lithanar has successfully been a thorn in the side of Naggaroth, but he hasn't invaded it. He's more like someone who lives there or around there and just constantly causes problems, but not like a full invasion. So what Eltharion did is, Eltharion at the head of a big old fleet, they managed to do a lightning raid into Naggaroth in the modern lore, and they were able to just burn a ton of shit. So they ran in, and they attacked a lot of fortresses. They freed a shitload of slaves and monsters, and basically they just caused as much havoc and insanity as they could. But eventually they got noticed, obviously, and the Dark Elves started coming after them, and they had to do a fighting retreat. And, like, it was a full, like, Malekith sent everything that could be sent after these guys. because he was pissed. Oh, is it Nakaron specifically? You know what? Let me double check myself. Let me check myself before I wreck myself. Where's my high elf book? Lizardmen, dwarves, warriors, chaos, dwarves, monstrous arcanum, ogre kingdoms. One sec. I like to double check. There we go. Because what makes a man wise isn't knowing everything. It's being able to check everything. Alright, let's see. Tharian the Gram. Tharian the Gram. Tharian the Gram. Tharian the Gram. There we go. Yes, it was Nagrond itself. Good job. Who was that? Who was that? Who was that in chat? Where'd it go? Hold on. I'll find you. Malekith was in the Chaos Realm? I think he was. No, it was definitely below that. Ah, I'm going for a walk. There you are. I'm going for a walk. Good job on that. Hold on. I'm actually going to just double check 2 or 3 things real quick. Just because Altharian's lore has actually changed significantly between certain editions. So I am just going to refresh myself on 2 or 3 things. The only thing I need to double check is the timeline page. So that, let's see, the invasion of Battle of Finneval Plain. Do they just not have... Do they not have the invasion of Grom on the timeline? Huh. Oh no, there it is. The Ruin of Yvres. Wow, that was actually surprisingly recent. The Assault on Nagaron. There it is. Ah! So wait, that happened in 2060 of the last Phoenix King, which was, what year was that? Oh god, I hate the way they do the High Elf timeline. So 2163 2163 plus 260 is 2321, give or take. Oh god, heavy. Ugh. 23 21, and Malekith returned. In 24-2. Awesome. Okay, cool. So, all right. Sorry, I just wanted to double check that. I like to make sure that things are accurate. Okay, so let's do this again. So the Tristan, the dwarf Heroes of Legend video will come out tonight. Anyway, so lore-wise, what happened is Altharin. So Battle of Vin of All Plain happens, right? There's a huge invasion of Ulthuan that coincides with the invasion of Azavar Kul over in the Empire. So all of the forces of chaos are invading the Empire, and Malekith, with all the Dark Elves, invades the island of Ulthuan with a bunch of chaos buddies that Morathi managed to get to join them. So they do this big invasion, and at the end of it, the Dark Elves lose, and Malekith is defeated. Because Teclis basically supercharges a god tier lightning bolt and hits him with it. And Malekith, to avoid being killed, throws himself into the realm of chaos and vanishes. And most of the Dark Elves either presume that he's dead or is basically a non-issue. So during this time, about 100 years before Malekith comes back, Eltharion the Grim, who is not known as the Grim at this point, he's simply known as Eltharion. Travis, I did watch Songs of War. I did, because you wouldn't shut up about it. It was okay. I like the music a lot. We can talk about that another time. Come hit me up next stream. But so Eltharion gathers up a bunch of high elves and they lead this huge invasion of Naggarond. Which, you know, if you look at the Total War map or any of the like maps, Naggarond is really, really in there. Like, Naggarond is like, you have to go let me pull up OBS so I know y'all are seeing what I'm showing here. You know, Naggarond is here, and the only way to get to it is you have to cross... Nope, go this way. You have to cross this entire ocean, and right over here is the entrance to the Great Sea. So you have to go through this entire ocean filled with all these different Dark Elf cities in order to get there. That's why it's generally been considered impossible. But Eltharion did it. Eltharion led an invasion of Naggarond that lasted for 2 years. Basically him leaving, getting there, and they laid siege to the city, and they fucked it up. Corrin Darkhand, who is a really famous Dark Elf character, would have been in charge of the defenses at that point, because he kind of took over the Black Council in Malekith's absence. So there was this really crazy series of battles, and the High Elves were doing a devastating amount of damage to Naggarond. Like, they destroyed entire portions of the city by lighting them on fire. They freed tons of slaves. They killed a lot of Dark Elves. And then they had to start fleeing because the Dark Elves were starting to basically build up enough power, and Corrin Darkhand started organizing the defenses well enough that they were going to be able to overwhelm them. But as the High Elves were fleeing, a contingent of Witch Elves was battling Eltharion and those closest to him, and Eltharion got cut by a Witch Elf's dagger. And as you know, if you play Total War Warhammer, all Witch Elves have poisoned weapons. So Eltharion got really sick. Like, he was basically put on death's door. And although they had done a ton of damage on their way into Naggaroth and to Naggarond itself, so they like hit a lot of the cities and had just wreaked havoc because the thing that Eltharion did that was really clever is he did not engage the Dark Elves on an open scenario in any circumstance. What he would do is they would land somewhere covertly, and they would release a bunch of like Aurelian Reavers and Shadow Warriors to go sow confusion, like releasing slaves, causing slave rebellions, taking out messengers and stuff like that. And they would lure out the like a Dark Elf garrison or like a smaller army, and then Eltharion's army would ambush them and take them out. But in any event, so Eltharion gets cut by this Witch Elf, and he's bad. Like, he's in bad shape. And they just flee back to Ulthuan. They just cut and run you know, being like, screw it, let's go home, Eltharian's gonna die if we don't, like, get him back immediately. So they head back to Ulthuan, but while Eltharion is gone, Grom shows up. And Grom the Paunch is something truly special. Grom was a little fortunate in that when Grom started building up his Wa in the Badlands, Grom started, where is my orc book? I want to show y'all his humble beginnings. Grom started his invasion, or his Wa, all the way... If I can find a map of the Badlands, which I know there's one in here, because I bother the devs at CA with it constantly. Here we go. So Grom started... oh wow, this one... The camera does not like this one. So this is a map of the Badlands. You'll vaguely recognize it. Grom started right... Here. This is the Misty Mountain. This is the Misty Mountain. This is the Sour Sea. So if you've played Mortal Empires, Nagashazar is like right over here. Tomb Kings are right here. Grom started here. And what Grom did is Grom got super duper fat, obviously, in Colossal by eating troll meat that was uncooked. And it made Grom swell up as his digestive system raced against the troll meat. Because either he was going to explode from it basically over-regenerating, or he was going to finish digesting it. And he managed to take care of it. And so Grom started building up a wall, and he went straight north. Grom just massacred his way through the Badlands, killing any orcs that got in his way. Is it related to the Lonely Mountain? The Misty Mountain? Grom the Paunch of the Misty Mountain. The Misty Mountain is ripped straight from Tolkien, yes. So Grom massacres his way north, and he builds up a huge wall. And he gets so big and so scary that and he's like unstoppable, right? That all the orcs that he goes up against, any of the orcs that try and best him by saying they're the war boss, he just fucking crushes them. And he works his way north until he gets to Blackfire Pass. Now, the dwarves at the time, tried their damnedest to stop Grom. Because Grom was obviously going to be a big problem for them. Because when Grom started heading north, he was going through the World's Edge Mountains to do it. And he caused a shitload of havoc going up to the World's Edge Mountains and the Badlands for the dwarves. Like, he sacked a number of dwarf like mines and stuff like that, and they hated him. So the dwarves sent a messenger to the Empire saying, hey, this really scary-ass goblin warlord is coming up. We need help. We are not going to be able to stop this guy by ourselves. Unfortunately, the Emperor at the time sucked. It was one of the worst emperors. It wasn't Boris Goldgather, I don't think. It was, who was the Emperor at the time? It might have been I think Boris Goldgather was the Black Plague. Who was the Emperor during Grom's invasion? Skaven Wars. Empire divided. Destruction of Solent. Oh, it was Dieter the Fourth? Let's see. Oh, nope, those are the elector counts. It was Dieter. Okay. So Dieter the Fourth was terrible. He was an awful, awful emperor. And Dieter the Fourth cared a lot more about money and decadence than he did doing anything interesting. And so what Dieter did is he told the dwarves to fuck off. Like, he was like, it's your problem, not ours. Because he did not think Grom was a big deal. So Grom gets to Blackfire Pass, curb stomps what little issues were in the way that the dwarves had, and the dwarves finally were like, you know what? Screw it. If the Empire is going to be a bunch of dicks about it, you're on your own. So the dwarves just abandoned the Empire. Like they went to their holds and they locked and sealed all the doors so that Grom couldn't get them. So Grom, now that Blackfire Pass is open and all the dwarves are hiding, follows his gut and he goes north into the Empire. And Grom proceeds to just destroy the Empire. The city of Nuln got completely sacked. Do orcs join Grom, or is he like... Well, orcs join Grom and Scarsnake, but Grom had a ton of orcs in his army. Grom had a full WA going, and a WA means that you have an absurd amount of every type of greenskin. So Grom leads his invasion north. He sacks Nuln. He, if I remember correctly, he dawdled a little bit around Altdorf, but Grom roughly had about 4 years where he just like curb stomped the Empire. Like four years of a greenskin invasion, just very leisurely because the thing about Grom is Grom's invasion was slow. Because what Grom really liked to do is Grom liked to eat, and Grom liked to have like big, not parties, but feasts, like victory feasts constantly. So yeah, it was one of the slowest WAs to ever happen. So it took Grom 4 years to work his way across the Empire because he was just like devouring everything he can get his hands on, and he was having a really good time. And eventually he made his way to Middenheim, where he fucked up Middenheim and built himself a fancy new chariot. He also he screwed up a ton of imperial cities and was just like one of the scariest WAs to ever come through that particular part of the world. But yeah, good old Dieter the Fourth, the Elector Count of Stirland. Yep. Let's see, who all did he destroy? Okay, yeah, so he entered the Empire. He went north through Stirland and Talbeckland. He made it all the way to Hockland. Took over the Great Forest and just hung out there for a good while. Oh, good Lord. I'm just double checking one little quick thing. Okay, yeah, so the big thing that happened was that he went north, and the thing about Grom, the reason his invasion took 4 years is because Grom just literally stopped moving. Like, he occupied Nuln. And the emperor at the time, who was Dieter the Fourth, Nuln was the capital of the empire during that point, and Grom just flat out took the city of Nuln and tore down the Emperor's Golden Palace, and the Greenskins lived there for such a long time that they were having, like, chariot races in the streets and all this stuff, and there was actually a massive Black Orc contingent in Grom's army, and the Black Orcs hated Grom, because Grom was very lethargic and was much more prone to just having great feasts and parties and stuff, instead of just constantly invading, and Grom sat on his ass for so long that his army started to disperse across the empire. So the empire actually became much more of a goblin country than a human country until they made their way to Reichland, where, of course, very famously, Prince Wilhelm, who was Dieter's brother, put up like a hell of a fight against Grom. And there's actually a story that has him fight Grom, but I don't know if that's still canonical. I believe in the updated story, him and Grom didn't actually cross paths. But he was the one that stopped the Greenskins from actually destroying Reichland. So Reichland was where the Greenskin army was finally stopped. But Grom was not interested in going anywhere. Like, the goblins took over a lot of the forests, like the Great Forest, which is like the whole center of the Empire, and he basically owned everything from Hochland south, that like whole eastern part of the Empire. So Stirland, Talabecland, and Hochland were all under the control of Grom and his army. And finally what happened is that a shaman in his army named Blacktooth, old Blacktooth is a orc shaman who had a big vision from Gork and Mork, and he told Grom, Gork and Mork say, we gotta go this way. And Grom, realizing that the gods were telling him to get off his ass, finally was like, oh, okay, let me get off my ass. And so they went up, they went up and messed around in Nordland a little bit, and then they started going west. And when they went west, because they were heading for the ocean, they passed through Midland. And when they passed through Midland, unfortunately, the soldiers of Midland made the critical mistake of blowing up Grom's chariot with a cannonball. And when the chariot of Grom was exploded by a cannonball, Grom got pissed. Because, where most people would die running at full speed on a chariot and having it obliterated beneath them and just, like, eating shit, Grom just regenerated and was fine. But Grom got so angry that he turned his Wa and led an invasion of Middenheim, the city of the White Wolf, smashed in the gates, invaded the city, and he went to the temple of the wolf god Ulrich and tore the building apart, and he took off the roof and made a new chariot out of it that was much better than his old chariot. And that's the chariot you see him using in the trailer. And then he kept going until he reached the ocean. Now, at this point, Reichland finally managed to get enough of all of the Imperial provinces together to say, hey, this goblin is kind of a big fucking problem and we gotta deal with him. So what they did was they got all of their ships together, like they got the Imperial Navy, what was left of it, and they went out to fight Grom because they knew Grom was going to sea. So Grom, granted, his army by this point was much smaller because Grom had spent so much time sitting on his ass that most of his army had just wandered off, and were like just raiding and being dicks in other parts of the Empire, or were Black Orcs who were like trying to attack critical locations. So Grom, which fun fact, they actually revealed in the Warhammer Fantasy role-playing game, 4th edition, that the gnomes, those books are canonical. So the gnomes are a canonical race in Warhammer Fantasy, and they're actually much scarier than you think they would be. They actually almost got wiped out. They were made virtually extinct by Grom, because Grom invaded through their swamps and killed a ton of them. But anyway, so Grom and what was left of his army went out into the ocean on their really ramshackle fleet that was built of a bunch of random crap. And the Empire interceded them, the Navy, and there was like a big fight. But unfortunately, for the Empire, a big storm showed up. And this big storm, between the Imperial Navy and the big storm, a ton of Grom's fleet just died. Like, Grom was going to lose. Grom's navy was not in a position to go up against the Imperial Navy. So the storm saved him. But it threw almost his entire navy off course. Though the storm was likely sent by Gork and Mork. Because it turns out, so for those of you who have read, we'll talk about gnomes later. Just forget about the gnomes. Forget I said anything about gnomes. We'll deal with them in a little bit. So Gork and Mork likely sent this storm. And the reason is that when we talked earlier about the Steam page for the High Elves, you note that I talked about the Mists of Yvres. So the High Elves, to protect Ulthuan, one of the most powerful enchantments on the entire island continent of Ulthuan are known as the Mists. Mists. I don't know why that's hard to... It's really hard to hit that T. Mists. But the mists of Yivris are a genuinely magical phenomena that protect the eastern coast of Ulthuan. And what they do is when ships would pass through it, there are like monsters in the mist, like actual creatures made out of it that would attack people. And the mists are enchanted so that if you go in them, they will disorient you so bad that you'll basically spit out somewhere else, or you'll run into rocks and die. But they basically make it impossible to land on the eastern coast of Ulthuan. Like, you have to get super fucking lucky, or you have to have incredibly powerful magic in order to land on the eastern coast. Well, Grom fell very hard into the first category. Grom got so lucky that his entire fleet, what was left of it, landed on the eastern coast of Ulthuan. And Grom was like, screw it, let's attack. And so Grom invades Ulthuan, right? And although it was only a fraction of his original Wa, it was still numbered in like the tens of thousands. So it's this colossal army. And the this horde makes its way into Ulthuan, but old Blacktooth is still getting visions. And old Blacktooth visions start telling Grom where to go. And it turns out that Gorik and Morik are specifically directing Grom to attack the Elven Waystones. Which, if you're familiar with the lore, you might note that the Elven Waystones, are where when High Elves die, whenever an elf dies, if their soul is not, like, given a specific place to go, then Slaanesh is almost always going to eat them. Like, every time. So to prevent this, each of the Elven races has their own way of dealing with it. So for the High Elves, they designed a very clever system where the souls of their dead are stashed in the Waystones. Plus, the Waystones act as fulcrums that channel the winds of magic in a vortex, which makes the vortex. So the magic that holds up Ulthuan and the magic that sustains the great vortex at the heart of it, which drains most of the magic out of the planet, are all sustained by the Waystones. So Grom starts destroying the Waystones. Grom has no idea what he's doing. He has no idea what these things are. He just thinks they're big rocks. But old Blacktooth says, tear them down. So Grom's like, alright, fuck it. So Grom just starts ripping all of these Waystones out and destroying them. And Ulthuan starts, like, having earthquakes. Like, it's bad. And Blacktooth starts eating all of this magic that's being poured out by these Waystones. Also, fun fact about Blacktooth, despite being just an orc shaman, he rode on a wyvern mount. Because an orc war boss that was riding the wyvern got sniped, I think, at the Battle of Nuln, and Blacktooth was able to conquer it. So he rides on a wyvern, which is awesome. And Blacktooth starts eating all of this magic to get absurdly powerful. And basically what it's building up to is that if the Greenskins succeed in what they're trying to do, A, Ulthuan will be completely destroyed. But B, Blacktooth is going to have enough magic built up that he's going to be able to probably summon Gorik and Morik into the physical plane. So although the Demons of Chaos absolutely would get let loose, there would be so much magic in the world, and Blacktooth would be so supercharged that he would be able to manifest the twin gods of the Greenskins in the physical plane, which would be, like, fucked for everybody else. Yes, Blacktooth is in the campaign. He's like, his head is, which we're getting to. So anyway, so Grom, invading, so Ash Splitter, fun fact, thank you for bringing that up. In the old lore, so like, maybe 5th or 6th edition, it was that it turned out the Dark Gods were directing Blacktooth because the Dark Gods wanted him to unleash them, and Blacktooth, like, made a deal with them. But in newer lore, they scrubbed the Dark Gods out of the storyline. Like they got rid of they separated that particular part of the story. So now it's just the Greenskins being reckless dipshits. And Blacktooth wanting so much power that he could basically just like curb stomp everybody. Because Greenskins are just obsessed with power. Excuse me. So anyway, so they keep invading and they finally get to the point where there is one waystone keeping Ulthuan afloat. One waystone that if it destroyed is going to fuck the world over. And it's in the city of Tor Yivris. Now, Altharian's family at this point, unfortunately, was basically wiped out. Because while Altharian was super duper sick and making his way back home, obviously his family, being the nation that Grom invaded, they went out to fight Grom. But they were just completely overwhelmed by Grom's numbers and the fact that Grom thinks elves are like the best tasting thing ever and was hyper aggressive in his battles with them. So the elves are getting massacred. And Yivris went from a fairly powerful kingdom, because they obviously were deeply hurt by the Sundering, to just being like they were like decimated, population-wise. And so Grom makes his way to the city and starts laying siege to the city, and it's this big battle. Well, Altharian at this point had returned to Ulthuan. And Altharian, while in his poisoned state where he's like wasting away, Altharian has a vision of his father, Moranion, talking to him. And Altharian's father basically tells him, I've died, I was killed by this monster, our people are dying, Ulthuan's gonna be destroyed, you are the only thing that can save us. Like, you're it. And so Altharian wakes up and he snaps out of his fever, and Altharian is not only miraculously cured, but in the tent that he was resting in, his father's sword has like magically appeared, the Fang Sword. So he takes up the Fang Sword and he leads his army on this really big charge across what's left of Ulthuan on his Mount Stormwing to go fight Grom. And this culminates in this final epic battle between Grom the Paunch's invasion and the city of Tor Yivris. And the city's getting curb stomped, right? Like, they're fighting as desperately as they can, but Grom's army is winning. And is this where the unique building Subterranean Palace comes from? Yes. So Tommy Bravo, at the back of Tor Yivris was the area that the Waystone was secreted away in, was known as Athel Tamara. And because it was like a small grove, and Blacktooth gets in there. How does he get Stormwing? Stormwing's been with Altharian most of his life. Stormwing and Altharian are like way back. Like when he invaded Naggarond, he had Stormwing with him. But so it leads to this big thing of the High Elves are getting massacred, and while Grom's running around the city doing his thing, just killing elves, Blacktooth and his Wyvern get into Athel Tamara, and he uses his magic to corrupt the Waystone. So the Waystone starts going haywire. And Blacktooth starts building up all of his power to this final top of the ritual. And as Blacktooth is trying to go for this final cast of the ritual, this final culmination of superpower that's going to sink the island and kill a ton of people, is the kill all the elves, sink the island, make himself absurdly powerful. That's literally the moment Altharian shows up. And Altharian, the instant Altharian shows up, he announces himself by basically diving out of the sun or the clouds or something where Blacktooth didn't realize he was there. Blacktooth did not even have a chance to register that Altharian was there. Altharian just snipes out of the clouds and he just chops Blacktooth's head off. Just instantly, just dead. So Blacktooth gets decapitated and the magic goes haywire. And Altharian's army shows up, and between Blacktooth dying, the Waystone going nuts, and this new army of High Elves showing up, the Greenskins just start getting butchered. And the Greenskins scatter like cockroaches when you turn the light on. And at this point, Grom does his most famous act that I love him for, which is that Grom sees his army breaking apart and running for the hills. And Grom kind of looks around and he's like, "Oh, rally!" And then he kind of sits there for a second and really looks at what's happening. And Grom's like, fuck it, and just leaves. Like, Grom just looks around and he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna go home." So Grom runs away. And it's not really clear what happened to Grom after this point. Most records have that Grom and some of the Greenskins somehow successfully make it back to their ships and flee back to the Badlands. Whereas, and Eltharion purges the city of Greenskins. And the reason Eltharion gets his epithet of the Grim is once he saves the city, the Waystone is still going haywire, right? And it's like threatening to unhinge the vortex and sink Ulthuan. So Eltharion and some of his closest friends go into the Warden's tower where the Waystone is. They go in, and we don't know what happened, but we do know that something horrible happened in there. And of all the elves who went in to the Warden's tower to confront the Waystone, Eltharion is the only one who comes out. So Eltharion was the only survivor. He comes out and he will not speak on what happened. Basically, Eltharion comes out and it looks like he's aged a bunch and he has like this really grim look on, like he just looks like the most serious person ever, because whatever he saw in there broke him on a really deep fundamental level, like scarred him. So we don't know exactly what happened. It's very likely that demons came out, or whatever ritual was required to calm the Waystone down and save it required some really horrible acts. But Eltharion was the only survivor, and he never spoke on what happened, and he became so tight-lipped, and he became so severe in his personality, like no nonsense, that the elves started calling him the Grim, because he's not fun to be around. And, like, Eltharion is he's not a dick, but Eltharion is so, like, serious all the time that there's actually a short story about him where there was a festival that not a festival, but like I guess you could call it a festival, but it's like a remembrance of all the lives lost during the invasion of Grom. And there was like this, there's like this bard elf who is telling the story, and he tells parts of the story that Eltharion really doesn't like. So Eltharion almost murders the guy. Like, Eltharion fully intends to kill this other elf in cold-blooded murder, and only doesn't do it at the last second due to some other stuff that vaguely seems to have to do with gods. But, like, Eltharion is a not nice person. The only elf that likes Eltharion is Tyrion. I love his face in his Age of Sigmar model. You mean his non-existent face? Like, most High Elves do not like Eltharion because he's so just straight to the point, and he doesn't give a he doesn't give a shit about being nice to you. He doesn't give a shit about politics. Eltharion is there to do his job and to make sure things get done, and he doesn't give a fuck about anything else. Like, he doesn't care who you are. He's gonna do his thing, and you either better get on board or he will remove you. Which Tyrion loves him. Like, Tyrion loves how no nonsense he is in his warrior code. Whereas all the other, like, high elves really do not like him. Who is the most grim high elf? Eltharion, Elithanar, or Tyrion? I would say, I'd probably say Eltharion. Elithanar is not so much grim as he is, like, hate-fueled. Okay, so the blind thing. Okay, so that's the end of the story. So Grom flees back to the Badlands and we never see him again. Eltharion, after he saves Tor Yivris and calms down the Waystone, Eltharion did go on to invade the Badlands to look for Grom. So Eltharion invades the Badlands, which the elves had not done in a really long time, and Eltharion kills a shitload of Greenskins. Like, Eltharion ends up blowing up a bunch of Greenskin fortresses and stuff. Home Slicer, thanks so much for the tip, my dude. I appreciate it. Eltharion ends up blowing up a bunch of Greenskin strongholds that, like, the Bretonnians and the Dwarves had never been able to crack. But he was never able to find Grom. Granted, there are different interpretations of that story. In the older lore, it said that he did find Grom and he tortured and killed him. But in the modern lore, especially in the Total War universe, he never found Grom. And we don't know what happened to Grom. Presumably, Grom went back to the Misty Mountain and just sat around doing nothing until the world blew up. But in Total War, he's back! And I'm so excited. Anyway, so let's talk real quick about Eltharion the Blind. So a lot of people who Google Eltharion might see a different version of him, or you might find that he has like an additional story. And that has to do with, excuse me. Throat is parched. That has to do with a storyline that's no longer canon. So in 6th edition, they moved the lore forwards. And then in the later editions, they ended up being like, nope, take backsies, that didn't happen. So what happened in the new lore, or the older lore, was that after all that stuff happened, in the very, very recent timeline, Eltharion decided to do another invasion of Naggarond. But this time, Malekith was home. And Eltharion's invasion did not go well. It went really, really bad. And he got captured. And he gets captured, and Malekith decides not to kill him. Malekith instead decides to torture him. And Malekith not only tortures the shit out of Eltharion, but he also destroys his... I don't remember if he takes out his eyes or he blasts him with magic or what he did. But Eltharion goes blind because Malekith rips out his eyes somehow. And after Malekith tortured Eltharion a bunch and removed his eyesight, he actually decided to let him go. I don't remember exactly what the reasoning is. I'd have to go grab my High Elf 6th edition book, which is in a chest, which I don't want to have to dig it out. If I remember correctly, it was more like Malekith was so amused by Eltharion, and like Eltharion hated Malekith so much that it was kind of like a light side of the Force versus dark side of the Force Jedi situation, where like Malekith realized that Eltharion was basically giving in so much to the dark side in his hatred that Malekith was like, I'm not going to kill this guy because I find it kind of funny, and this guy might end up becoming like a really big bad guy. So Malekith, if I recall correctly, lets him go. But somehow Eltharion gets back to Ulthuan, and now that he's blind, and his griffin Stormwing was killed. So Stormwing died, and Eltharion gets his vision taken from him, and everyone who invaded alongside him, I believe, died. But he gets back to Ulthuan, and Eltharion basically starts being... Eltharion starts being a little too motivated by hatred, to the point where the High Elves, he does start training in new fighting styles, and he becomes a sword master. Because the sword masters basically are able to help him hone his senses so that he can still be just effective as a fighter while blind. And he becomes known as Eltharion the Blind, and he basically is a master swordsman who is fucking terrifying. And but despite the fact that he's very, very skilled, a lot of the High Elves were like, about him, because he was so driven by his hatred for Malekith that there was they basically planted some story seeds that insinuated that while Eltharion might be the one who may successfully kill Malekith, he was potentially going to be turning to methods so bad that he might turn into something worse. But they ended up erasing that storyline immediately afterwards. Tyrant 0000. Saw on Reddit, someone said someone was sad about what happened to Eltharion during the end times. Yeah, so what they changed Eltharion's story to in the end times was that Eltharion never becomes Eltharion the Blind. What instead happens is Eltharion does all his stuff involving invading the Badlands and everything, And then Eltharion, they really build up Eltharion's friendship with Tyrion. And so what happens in the end times with Eltharion is that Teclis engineers helps to engineer the kidnapping of the Everchild, which the Everchild is the daughter of Tyrion and Elariel the Everqueen, right? So she gets kidnapped by Manfred von Karstein and Heinrich Himmler, and Manfred is planning to use her in a big ritual to resurrect Nagash. And Archon the Black joins up, and like all this shit and shenanigans happen. And where Eltharion the Grim comes in is basically Malekith is getting ready to launch a big invasion of Ulthuan. The High Elves know this. So Tyrion has to stay home. Like, Tyrion needs to be in Ulthuan so he can defend against the Dark Elves. And they did attempt to rescue his daughter when she was at Nagashazar. But even though High King Thorgrim Grudgebearer joined up with the High Elves, so it was like Tyrion and Thorgrim fighting back to back against this massive invasion, or this massive horde of undead, Manfred gets away with Aliathra, which is the Everchild's name. So Tyrion can't go after her. He needs to stay home. And Teclis was involved, which is a whole thing. But so was Malekith. But what ends up happening is Tyrion at home can't go after his daughter, so he goes to Eltharion, and he basically begs Eltharion to go save his daughter. So Eltharion, the Grim, gets a bunch of allies, including Tyrion's squire, and they go to the old world, and they march to Castle Drakenhof to fight Manfred von Karstein and save... Yes, Teclis was being manipulated. Teclis was fully on board to get Tyrion's daughter killed, but he did not realize what was going to happen. Teclis still did some super shitty stuff, but he did it thinking it was the only way to save the world. But, so Teclis, he was trying to do the right thing, but it was still super fucked up. Anyway, so Eltharion the Grim leads this big invasion of High Elves, and they were supposed to meet up with a bunch of other races. So they were supposed to meet up with Ungrim Ironfist, who was leading an army of dwarves. They were supposed to meet up with Erloth, who was leading an army of wood elves. And they were supposed to meet up with a bunch of Empire soldiers. However, that didn't happen because Manfred and Archon the Black did various things to distract all these different guys. So Eltharion is the only person, the High Elves are the only people who make it to the Nine Demons, which the Nine Demons are this place in Soapy Muffins. Thanks very much for the tip, bro. Thank you for the kind words. So Eltharion and the High Elves are the only people to make it to the Nine Demons, which is this site in Sylvania where Archon the Black and Manfred von Karstein are trying to resurrect Nagash. So they have this big epic fight that has one of the most beautiful pieces... Here, hold on, let me get it for you. It has one of the most beautiful pieces of artwork from the end times. Versus Undead End Times. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. Oh. Here it is. Can I find, the nice version of this? Hold up. Give me half a sec. That is probably the best version. Man, maybe not. Hold on, I want to show you guys a good... This is one of my favorite pieces of artwork from the end times. Okay, this one's a little better. So this is the piece of artwork that comes from it. So this is Eltharion the Grim and the High Elves battling against the undead legions of... You can see Archon the Black right here, and you can see Nagash getting summoned. And there's Manfred. Manfred's over here in the back. But, so there's this... Oh, wait, no, you can't see my screen. I'm silly. Hold on. Hold on, let me show you. There you go. So, this is the artwork from that really, really famous scene. So here's Nagash being summoned. Here's Archon the Black. Here's Manfred von Karstein in the back. And then here's all the High Elves that are battling all the Undead Legions. The original piece of art, which I have over in my chest, it's actually much bigger than this because it's a 2-page spread. But it's a really, really beautiful piece of artwork. But there you go. There's that. And boop. So, but what happens is that they have this really, really crazy big final battle, and Eltharion dies. And the way Eltharion, I will say, Eltharion went out like a badass, even though it was super sad. Because basically, Archon the Black resurrected this barrier around himself to make sure nobody could interrupt the ritual. And a lot of people tried to get through the barrier, and all of them just, like, did not even make it at all. Like, they got curb stomped every time. But Eltharion was something different. Like, even Manfred von Karstein tried to attack Archon the Black during the ritual because Manfred did not actually want to resurrect Nagash. He just wanted to, like, absorb Nagash's power. Manfred did not want Nagash coming back under any circumstances. But Archon the Black one-upped him and tricked him. So Archon summons this barrier that's so powerful that Manfred von Karstein can't get through it. Like, Manfred throws all the magic he has at it. He throws a monster at it. He throws his weapons at it. Manfred cannot penetrate this barrier. Then Eltharion shows up, and at this point, Stormwing has been killed. Like, Stormwing died, and Eltharion basically takes the Fang Sword and just, like, throws himself into the barrier and hits it with all of his might and starts pushing through the barrier. And this barrier is designed to just fucking kill you. So, Eltharion the Grim, if you've seen Avengers, you know, when people are dusting and they're, like, falling away into dust, that's basically what was happening to Eltharion, is the further he pushed through this barrier, the more of him was turning away to ash. So, Eltharion was pushing and pushing and pushing, and Archon the Black actually turns around and is, like, watching Eltharion get closer to him with his sword. And Archon the Black's kind of like, this guy's getting kind of close. And Eltharion does actually manage to shatter the barrier through, like, sheer willpower. But unfortunately, the effort of destroying the barrier ends up killing Eltharion, and he he rips through the barrier and tries to impale Archon the Black, but the effort it took him to, like, get through it was too much, and he ends up basically just, like, collapsing into dust and dies, and that's the end of Eltharion. But hey, BuffCon, thanks for the nice words. Now I can show y'all one of my favorite things about how Age of Sigmar 2nd Edition has been doing things right instead of things wrong. So allow me to introduce to you that in Age of Sigmar, Eltharion is back. But because Eltharion's body was completely and utterly eradicated by necromantic horrible magic, Eltharion has been resurrected, and he looks good. You may notice that he is completely made out of light. So he looks like an empty suit of armor, because all of his skin, all of his flesh and his body is now made out of pure light. And I fucking love this model. It is a gorgeous model. Here's his so that's the actual new model for him. And then this is his official artwork. So that's what you see when you fight him. Yeah, no, this is the actual Eltharion. It's not a reference to Eltharion. It is the Eltharion. They haven't released him yet. He comes out this summer. But, ooh, mwah, mwah, it's so good. It's so good. It's one of my favorite models. I'm not going to collect this army, but it's a good model. I love the way he looks. What happens when it gets dark out? Well, he's made out of light, so he would just be really easy to see. Ash Splitter, I know. Tell me about it. All right, guys. We have been hanging out and talking now for 2 hours. I have a lot of shit to do. Where is his body? It's right here. He's made out of light now. Do I think there will be an update? Any updates to Alistair the White Lion? Maybe. How can a suit of armor give me Oh, the gnomes! Yeah, alright. Gnomes. Hold on. Let me get you something. I promised you gnomes. I will give you gnomes. Alright. This is a book from the new Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition, which if you're into role-playing games like D&D, get this game. It is so good. So, this is the first expansion book, and it's called Rough Nights and Hard Days, which is the name of my biography. Don't look too much into that. It's full of all sorts of beautiful things like this. You're not going to be able to see this. But it's got like a nice full map of the Empire. I was going to show you, and then I realized it's almost entirely green. So, but let me show you gnomes. You know what? It'll be easier for me to just pull up. I have a digital version. These are gnomes. In Warhammer Fantasy, gnomes are nasty, nasty little bastards who actually are wizards. They very cleverly tend to disguise themselves as halflings because they're very similar to halflings. But the biggest difference between gnomes and halflings is that gnomes can actually grow facial hair, which halflings cannot. And gnomes also tend to have bigger noses and are skinnier, and they're wizards. Which gnomes have the ability to wield the lore of shadow. Why are these goblins not green? The roleplay gnomes, very ugly creatures. They're very, very rare. They're very, very rare. But those of them that can use magic are always shadow wizards. And they specialize very much in illusion magic and in magic that fucks with your brains. They don't live in swamps per se, but what's left of their culture lies hidden in swamp-like areas. That looks like Dar. I know it looks like Dar, but I promise you it is shadow magic. It is good old Olgu. Is this Warhammer? Yes, this is official Warhammer Fantasy lore. And this book gets very, very into detail about them and their culture and all that stuff. But yes, they were almost wiped out by Grom the Paunch. Fun fact. They have 3 gods. You have Evwain, the god of travel, trade, and thievery. You have Mabon, the goddess of shadows, revenge, and magic. And you have Ringel, the god of entertainment, spies, and trickery. They live in burrows. They're surprisingly nasty little critters. Oh, fun fact. Sorry, I misspoke earlier. They can learn dark magic. It is very, very rare, but gnomes do have the ability to learn dark magic or chaos magic, but their preferred magic is shadow. But there are chaos wizard gnomes. Oh, that's really funny. So in gnome culture, using dark magic or demon magic or chaos magic is strictly forbidden, but there have been evil gnomes. There have been chaos gnomes who use necromancy or the lures of chaos. So there's your fun fact. Yes, there are necromancer gnomes. Any relationship between gnomes and Fimir, given their hopes being in swamps? Gnomes and Fimir would not be friends. They would be very big enemies. Though I'm sure if there was a chaos gnome, they probably would ally with Fimir. Are they halflings? No, they are not halflings. The gnomes disguise themselves as halflings, but they are not halflings. Would I consider showing my whole collection or an office tour? Well, tell you what. Let me show you this. So, hopefully y'all don't see like a bunch of trash or anything, but whenever I have to do research, most of my stuff is over there. As you can see, it's a fucking mess right now because I have not had time to reorganize. That's not all of my books. That's probably about 70% of all my books. The rest of them are in a studio for work or other shit like that right now. Anyway, so would a halfling recognize a disguised gnome? If the halfling was very, very clever for a halfling, probably. But they would look a little weird to them. Did the old ones create the gnomes? Yes, the gnomes are an old one race. Where's the Sotek sex dungeon? No. Even if I had one, I couldn't tell you where it was. Just kidding. You have to pull on the right book. The gnomes were created by the old ones. They were... So you have to remember that when the old ones created any particular race, the old ones created a race with a specific idea in mind. So like when they created the elves, they wanted to create a race that was very attuned to all forms of magic. That ended up being a mistake. Then they created the dwarves, who were very anti all forms of magic. That was a mistake. Then they created the gnomes, which the gnomes were specifically designed to function within the realm, within shadow magic and illusionary magics and mind magic to try and mess with chaos. That didn't work out. So then they started working on humans, which humans were meant to be the perfect design. And then they realized that chaos was coming for them and they didn't have much time. So they started creating the ogres and the halflings to be two different versions of a race that is not magic resistant, but is chaos resistant, which would have been a really clever design if they could have finished it, but they didn't because they died before they had the chance to finish it. Is that from the Warhammer role-playing book? Yes, this is. Rough Days and Hard Nights. Sorry, Rough Nights and Hard Days. Was there anything that the old ones did that was not a mistake? I would say most of their stuff was not outright a mistake. It's just that they didn't have time to perfect their creation. Yeah, Lord Bile. Alright, guys. Why did I say they're nasty? Because Warhammer Fantasy Gnomes they're not cruel per se, but there's so few of them, and they have such a nasty focus on survival. There are very few lows to which a gnome will not go to ensure their success. Can halflings use magic? No. Where do the gnomes live now? Hold on. They currently... They live in... Okay, yeah. They live in Glimdwaro. And Glimdwaro... Glimdwaro is... They live in burrows beneath... mountains, and they live in burrows beneath particular little swamps. So there's a place right outside of... there's a place just south of Midland, like the border of Midland and Reichland. Just south of Midland's border is a area called the Mirror Moors, and in the Mirror Moors is the secret capital and last city of the gnomes, which is called Glimdwaro. Where do troll hags come from, and what is their lore? Troll hags are female river trolls that are colossal. They're very big. They're the matriarchs and leaders of the trolls. What do dwarves think of gnomes? I'd have to look it up. All right, guys. All right. This has been a lot of fun, but this has been going on for like almost 2.5 hours. I gotta go. I gotta eat lunch. I gotta record videos for y'all tomorrow. A ton of other shit. So don't worry. Are gnomes a playable race? Yes, and they're awesome. I will be back as often as I can to do a lot of crazy stuff. Can I do an in-depth video on the gnomes in the near future? Absolutely. Anyway, so thank you all very, very much for watching. This has been a ton of fun. I hope you all had a good time. If you did, please consider hitting the like button on your way out. I know it seems stupid, but every like really, really helps boost the video so other people might be suggested to watch it, which helps me out. So I'm going to go record so y'all can have some awesome footage tomorrow. Before you go, I am going to be putting up the poll in like 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, I'm going to be putting up a poll about which Greenskin Legendary Lord I will be playing on tomorrow's video. And who knows, maybe I'll play all 4 of them. But if I have to play like a few of them, I'll do them in order of whoever has the most votes. So whether you want to see Grimgor, Azhag, Skarsnik, or Wurzag and their new campaigns, be sure to vote on that. Thanks again very, very much for joining me today. And a big shout out to everyone. Ghost Rebel, thanks very much for the $5 tip. Big shout out thanks to everyone who tipped today, everyone who super chatted, everyone who joined as a member, and those who used their Twitch Primes or subscribed on Twitch. Thank you all a ton for the support. I will have us leave out with the trailer. I'll just play it on repeat once or twice, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Actually, I'll see you later today for a video. Assuming I get my voice back, because oh fuck, it's starting to hurt. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Where is he?
It has been many years, but this city will never be safe. Not whilst he is still out there.
We'll show them pointy ears! We'll show them all! His immensity, his enormously, has returned!
Just warm it up! A storm comes to Elfborn. It is my duty, our duty, to endure. It's time we give
The pointy heads are proper fight!
Stand with me! For as long as I still live! For Ibris will never fall!